Hello, everyone. I forgot. I forgot about this opening. Oh man. So, welcome back to another commentary track, and we're doing the we're doing the first movie review, which was definitely something different, and yeah, so this is something I wanted to do for the longest time. When I was coming up with the review channel, I knew that, at some point I wanted to talk about movies, TV, that kind of thing. The only thing is that I didn't have a way of actually getting footage. That was the only problem, was that, like, I didn't have a way of actually getting the footage I needed for a movie. And also I didn't know how to approach doing a movie review, unless but I think what I came up with was, I mean, it's not too different from most people out there, I will say, but it's mostly just, just going through the narrative, talking about the story and stuff. Oh yeah, my movie intro. So I knew I had to kind of change it up a bit. I wanted the thing with the intros here is that I wanted some level of consistency. So I felt the best way to go about it was to have same music, same general idea, but just kind of have things switched around a little. And I think it was fine.
It kind of reminds me of the opening to Batman '89 a little bit, but overall a great start.
Who am I? You sure you want to know?
Nope.
So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, this was, when I came up with doing the Arkham videos, I knew that, as a good counterpoint to that, since I started with Batman, I felt, I felt the way of kind of going about it was doing something that was the opposite of that. And I mean, I love both Spider-Man and Batman, so I figured, I love the Raimi trilogy. Let's just do the Raimi trilogy. Actually, in my mind, this was This was supposed to be a lot longer than that, because we were doing the Raimi trilogy. I had the idea of doing the Mark Webb films, the Amazing Spider-Man stuff, the Tom Holland trilogy, just kind of crossing all those cylinders. And by this point, we didn't really get to that. I mean, it took pretty much a whole year to get to almost a year to get to the whole trilogy. But let's see. Yeah, this was but I knew this is where this was the start, I guess. And because this was still in the time where, I don't know if I talked about it in the Superman commentary, but at this point I was trying to do 2 reviews a month, because 2021, there 2021, there was only maybe a few videos that, I did the Marvel Marathon and Destroy Humans, Mario, and also EVGN. That, was a good amount, I would say. But let's see. Yeah, I wanted to just jam-pack the whole year with content, and I'll get into reasons why that didn't work later, but so for Christmas of that previous year, one of the things I asked for was just, coming up with ideas, because I'm terrible at coming up with ideas for stuff. I wanted a external disk drive.
This happens.
Because I knew that there was a way to kind of take MP4 files of movies, so I wanted to do that for, you know, Spider-Man and all this other stuff. And so the way I went about it was just by,
I can have a better chat with this robot here.
Fuck you, punk bitch.
Speaking of performance, it makes me feel like I'm watching children talking.
the way I went about it was just kind of, you know, having the disk drive, putting the movie in, and then just extracting it from a program. The process of writing the script for this was like,
Peter gets into the stuff
this
that
was
Ian's focused on, which is him designing his costume and honing his web skills.
a riot. Yeah, let's see. So, the way I went about it, the way I went about writing the scripts for these movie reviews, and at this point I'm still doing it, is that, you know, I would watch the movie on one screen and I'd have the script on another. So as I'm watching it, you know, writing down plot details. If I had an idea for a joke, I'd, you know, pause the movie, write the joke, and then get back to watching the movie. And the only thing about doing it that way is that it takes a lot of time. So if you're watching like a 2-hour plus movie, you're basically there for like an extra, or at least in my case, it turned from a 2-hour movie to like a 5-hour movie, just because, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to write the script for these movies. And you know, I have my, you know, I'd write down my notes, which I'd keep on the side, so whenever we got to like the thing was that the story always came first. The plot recap, or, you know, that always was the main chunk of the video. And then after that would be like everything else. So like talking about characters and, you know, action, CGI, that kind of thing. Those would mostly be where the notes would focus on. There was a time where I thought about, you know, kind of dividing that up into its own separate section. But I felt for the purposes of, like, this, it wasn't really all that necessary. So I just kind of bunched it all together, and that's kind of the approach I've been doing ever since. And it's kind of more in line with how I usually do, like, you know, game-related content. So, like, for game reviews, there'd always be the story. There's always, like, an after story, which was basically just my thoughts about the movie. And, well, not the entire movie, but just, like, the story in question, which I did here as well. So, and then there's always, you know, talking about, you know, the other stuff, which is just kind of all types of discussions about whatever. But yeah, there was a lot of that from the game stuff, which kind of just bled over into the movie reviews, which did help my process kind of going forward. And yeah, I didn't think it was gonna work as well as it did, but for me anyway, it did help a lot. Sorry to break for a minute, but I'm coming up. This is probably my favorite joke I did for this whole video. Oh man, I can't believe I got away with this. I don't know where, like, that started, but just there was, I feel like I was talking to somebody, maybe like Alter or Swifty or whatever, but there was just this idea that popped in my head. Like it's a kiss, like that kissing scene is, I've seen so many times to the point where it's just like, it's ingrained in my head. And I'm like, how can I tease it in a way? Let's just put the porn parody up there. That actually took a bit of time to edit, because I had to make sure that black bar was covering that black bar had to cover everything, and I didn't, like, I made sure to not have any of what was supposed to be there visible. So
the second way is by kidnapping MJ off screen, leading us into the.
And then there was also the process of just finding that clip, which that also took a little bit of editing to do, because below Pete there was some text for some website or whatever, which I had to crop out, and then I also wanted the audio to kind of move over to that shot of me watching it. But yeah, that's my favorite joke in this whole video, and it's amazing I got away with that. I figured there would be somebody. I thought I'd have to cut that out, honestly. I figured somebody was going to come after me for that, but thankfully nobody did.
All the beats hit right, and does a great job of establishing the motive.
But yeah, there was
hero and villain.
there was a lot of it, which was just kind of like there were a lot of jokes, which the main idea behind, you know, those jokes in the first place were just like just whatever I came up with on the spot. You know, it would make me, it's basically how I watch movies in general. It's just like, especially stuff I've seen plenty of times, there's always a point where it's just like, man, wouldn't it be funny if, you know, such and such was the case or whatever. And so usually it would be like a punchline, and then sometimes like maybe I'd think of a clip on the spot, like with the Thanksgiving scene, the one from a superhero movie. That was just one of those, which was like, that was what popped into my head. So I was just like, okay, let's put it in the video. And
Willem Dafoe steals the show here. When he puts the mask on and the voice
yeah,
changes,
and that's basically the whole process for like the story parts. This was just more or less taking my notes, and you know, I write out just a basic line through of my notes for, like, you know, for the characters and whatnot, cast, and, you know, how they performed well and all that kind of things. Maybe like right here I throw in a punchline or whatever. These parts though are not really the parts that I that I would think to come up with jokes, but it just sometimes like just kind of bled through. But yeah, there was, yeah, it was just taking those notes, those simple notes, and just like putting it into like a couple sentences or so. And yeah, I thought like the way that the length of this video that it turned out was, I thought it was going to be a whole lot longer, to be honest with you. I think it's just because I have a naturally quick pace to my videos, or at least that's what I think. It just kind of, like, I figured this would be at least over like 20 minutes or so, but it turned out not to be the case at all. Yeah, so it was like it was almost 20 minutes. It was like 17 or something. 16, 17, something like that. But
was a wonderful time, and is still a blast to come back to. While some elements
And then,
of limited CG, the inconsistent action,
yeah, there's always just that moment of, the final thoughts. So, yeah, you can see a lot of the overall process from the game reviews, just kind of the same over here, which,
well, we'll see with this one. This is required viewing for anybody.
Also, we'll get to it here in a second, but I felt that I needed a little tribute to Spider-Man, which,
It's been over 20 years since this movie released. This, along with the
I guess this was a thing I was going to have for all of my reviews.
Whether it was reading a random issue or playing one of the various games,
but I did really like how this one turned out.
Some of my earliest memories were just running around the back.
I don't know why I didn't come up with one for Spider-Man 2, but not that Spider-Man 2, the Spider-Man 2 movie. But so yeah, this video came out, and from what I remember, this one was another video that did pretty well. It did well. Over 100 views, which was really good. Oh yeah, this one was very last minute too, this joke. But I found that interesting though, where it's just like we don't really see that. We barely see DVDs anymore as is, so. But yeah, that was the first of the movie reviews that kind of evolved and took shape later on, and yeah, and then Spider-Man 2. But yeah, before we get to that one, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Be sure to subscribe, follow my social media if you're brand new, if you're a new viewer, and stay tuned for my next commentary track, which I believe is the Deadpool video, and I want to get Alter for that one. But anyway, have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. See ya.